Hey guys, my name is Thibaut, and today is the 18th day of fasting. Just drinking water and no food. And back in the day, I would have been impressed in this achievement, but really, considering it's not much of a struggle, I'm not that impressed. Now, if if I hadn't planned things, in November and you know I would have gone for the extra few days until perhaps even 40 days. But I'm not going to do that this season. That I have to be for another time. Today was Friday. My church does a Friday church service, like in the city centre of Belfast. Um, it's all right. Something to do. A bit of fellowship, although I kind of didn't really fellowship today. Yeah, then went out to did some clothes shopping because a lot of my clothing is like had for like 20 years, well, 15 years. Um, I'm not that fussed about fashion. Really, I don't care. But I don't know if you've noticed, but one of the colors I seem to be always attracted to is that kind of color. I have a brown hoodie. I've got some stuff drying at the moment, laundry. Uh, I've got many color shirts that color. I think that's the only long sleeve though. Actually, no, the long sleeve one there is it's got holes in it. I had that for 15 years. Still wear it. Uh, we have a is it Jack Wills, John Wills, Jack Wills. It's the same color. I have a hoodie, same color. You've seen that before. And I have a few. I have another short sleeve that color, and a long sleeve that color. And that's the one I think. Yeah, actually I do. But those two I had for a while. So, or the long sleeve one I had for a while. So that's got big holes. I still wear it. No, I don't care. I don't care if it's got holes in it. Um, but today I broke the trend. I don't know why I'm so interested. This is like Scarlet, right? Scarlet, the Harlot woman will be wearing Scarlet. But today I broke the trend. Okay. Okay, it's mainly white with a little bit. Okay. Okay, and just for the sake, because there's an offer today, it was only a fiver. I got a green one as well. So I hope I'm not in bondage. I got a few other things, but irrelevant. So yeah, so the countdown is it's the 18th day. Tomorrow's the 19th. So tomorrow, so 19th, 20th, and 21st. I have to wait till midnight. Now today I went to Marks and Spencer's to look at the fresh soups. It turns out they do fresh soups. Last time I went to look for some, I just didn't find any. Probably looked to the wrong place. But they do look pretty similar price, So, but one of my favorite all-time favorites is broccoli and Stilton. M&S do it, not Tesco's. But I'm looking forward to enjoy something. I have those bottles. Two of the bottles that keep things warm for 12 hours or cold for 48 hours. So I'm gonna be going to work with them, and yeah, it will be good. Um, Still looking at a place to live in Watford. Made a few sent a few messages. Now, Christian flat share. That's where I live now. I got it through that. There are a few scams, man. A few scams. A few scams. Or attempt to scam me. There was one like flat, right? 480 quid or something in Watford. So Watford is quite an expensive place, okay? Um, all paid for, bills, TV license, and other things. Even a cleaner, stupid, a cleaner who visits. Um, is looked a bit odd, but I thought I'd ask anyway because um, before I moved here, right, I was praying because I had to go. I had to go. I was being chopped out, right. I was praying for a place to I could find a place to rent to the centre of Belfast, okay, because I don't drive, uh, so my work will be walking distance from where I live, and for cheap. So luckily, God provided. I found one. It was 180 or 185 per month. Middle of Belfast, half an hour to work, walk, and yeah. So I got what I paid for. So yeah. So just in case, I thought I'll give it a go. But of course, when I made contact, asked about potential house viewing. They asked for the deposit to secure the house viewing. Now that is a scam. Never fall for it. No, that is not a common practice. I don't even know if there's law to protect people for that. There should be if there isn't. But no, never pay a deposit before you've even seen the house because you don't even know if they even own the house. You don't even know if the property exists. Um, so yeah, so I stopped making contact from then on. And I saw another one similar, but I think in both scams. So yeah, so I guess I would have to spend a lot of money for more money than I'm used to for rent. So it's going to be quite a big jump, 3 times at least. I need 3 months' notice for this place, so I think I've got to hand in my notice today just to force myself out. It is stressful. I have to admit, it's stressful. Maybe I'll do one more month. Yeah, I think I'll do the month of November at work just to have a um, extra cash because just prepare. Who knows how long it's going to be before I find a job in Watford. It should be okay. Usually, I'll get jobs like that, but you know, But anyway, I've got anything to do about the Bible to say about Bible stuff or God, whatever. Um, Not really. Not really. Not really. Something I've got thinking about. I think I'm not sure if I've spoken to you about it before. And of course, I'm just kind of saying it. I've not prepared this. Um, I think what makes the Bible so interesting is that it's full of mysteries, right? Mysteries, and mysteries are things that we don't see. We can't see. We can't see through our earthly eyes, and they certainly can't be tested through scientific methods. Because scientific methods are carnal; they're limited to natural things. It's carnal. Um, but it's like seeing the Bible from reading the Bible, no understanding, reading the Bible, understanding, or yeah, understanding both perspectives. So we have the earthly perspective and we have the heavenly perspective, so from God's side, from the things God can see, or the angels and spiritual beings can see. But from earthly perspective, we don't see the spiritual things, not with our own 2 eyes. I'll give you a few examples. I'm not sure if I've spoken about this before. You know, Adam and Eve were naked in the garden, and they didn't even perceive their own nakedness. That's from an earthly perspective. The Bible, most of the time, is from an earthly perspective. Occasionally, it goes into a heavenly perspective, but these tend to be passages, not just Revelation, but they are Isaiah, Ezekiel. Um, you know, that's the type where a lot of people would interpret as like parables, or there might be in some cases, there might be, but not always, or just symbolic. Well, no, it's real. There, like there's in heaven, there's temple, there's everything. Um, there's stuff going on over there, up there. There are things going on in heaven, and I don't know if I said this before in this vlogging, but everything that happens on earth is a manifestation of what happens in spirit. You know, like go through the seven seals, um, the seven trumpets, and the seven bowls. Like angels will pour bowls into the sea or to wherever, and then puff, it goes red. This is what happened. We probably will not see. We will not see. Okay, we will not see a bowl being poured onto earth, because that's from a heavenly perspective. But it does tell us what the earthly consequence or the earthly manifestation will be. So about Adam and Eve being naked and perceived it not. Now, how about from an earthly perspective, a heavenly perspective? They were not naked. Nope, they were clothed in righteousness. I can't remember the exact. I think there's a few verses in the Bible actually, in Revelation that kind of reveals this mystery. You know, yeah, it's when it talks about the saints, being clothed in fine linen, which symbols righteousness. You know, the saints like that die, prosecuted or whatever. You know, they'll be clothed in fine linen, in heavenly, not earthly fabrics, but it's going to be a heavenly equivalent, a heavenly version. If you understand what I'm saying. So I believe Adam and Eve were clothed in. Okay. So yeah, so they were closed. I can't even say it. So they weren't naked. From an earthly perspective, they were. But from God's perspective, they weren't, because they were righteous. They haven't even sinned. They haven't even sinned. So they were righteous. They were dressed in that same clothing. Of course, Genesis itself does not tell you that, but that's part of the mystery. There's a few other examples. It is actually a good one in Chronicles or Kings. But let's use another one. I'll tell you what. I know exactly where I wrote it. I wrote it down. Where did I put my journal? Okay, if I find the Bible reference, I've got lots of notes here, incredible notes. So I kind of wrote a list of kings of Judea. I've done this before, but I did the Northern Kingdom as well in a Word document like 6 years ago. Maybe 8 years, 5.5 maybe. And now I've kind of did it again, but I wrote it down. I mean, one day, I would love to go through that, because it's the most incredible. The kings and chronicles in the Bible are actually really fascinating, and it's part of the Bible where you really learn a lot about God. I mean, that part of the Bible where God does not necessarily talk much, but you see how he reacts. You see how he. I don't know how to explain it. Okay. He was king during Jehoshaphat, and after that, it's from another way. Okay, I'll explain it because I won't find it. I don't want to use on my memory. There was a king. Okay, you might know who it is. Okay, the king of Judah went up to the king of Ephraim, with the northern kingdom, Israel. Because they were thinking of making treaties so they were both going to war together. And of course, the Northern Kingdom king had false prophets prophesying positive things and so on. And but the king of Judah was not said, "Have you got a real prophet or something like that? You got a." And he says, "Yeah, but he always says bad things about me. He." So the king of Northern Kingdom does not like him. But eventually, that prophet comes and prophesies as well, and again he kind of tells the king, "You're going to die." I can't remember for what reasons exactly, but he says that, and then the prophet kind of explains to him what he sees in heaven. That's what he's seeing, There's we say it's like God in the temple, like in a court, and God is asking his servants or his angels, what shall we do about this king? I think it could be Ahab or Ahaz or something. I can't remember. And one angel suggested to send him a lying spirit, to send down a lying spirit. So possibly that's why the prophets were lying, or thought they, you know, that's how they gave bad prophecies. But the king did not like the prophecy. So the prophet actually dwelled into what was going on in heaven. So the court case, God asking his servants, what shall we do about Ahaz? I think it says Ahaz, not too sure. Ahaz, let's try. It's not Ahab, it's Ahaz. Let's try Ahaz. If I don't find it, I'm going to have to do it another time. Jotham. Jotham is an interesting character, man. He's one of the only king where nothing is said, no negative thing is said about Jotham. Every other king have at least one thing bad to say about them, but not Jotham. Nope. Can't find it. What a failure. Anyway. Well, long story short, the prophet gives us an insight on what's happening in heaven, how God makes things manifest on earth. His angels give him some ideas, and one angel said, "Oh, let's send a lying spirit," and again, that's how eventually the king of Judah of Israel was judged. He ended up dying quite pathetic death, I believe. I can't remember. It'd be for another time. But just like the seals, like trumpets and in wounds and bowls, it was a manifestation of something spiritual on earth. And that's how we should read the whole Bible. We should always consider. Let me give you Job, for example. Job. Satan. He was already Satan at the time. Okay. Was in heaven. God was telling, "What doeth thou?" or something. What are you doing? And Satan said, "I'll be going up and down in the earth and up the earth, blah blah blah." And then God said, "Have you seen my servant Job?" And it's Job chapter 1. That I remember. The Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect man and upright man, one that feareth God and hates evil?" And Satan said, "Does God fear Job for nothing? Does Job fear God for nothing?" He said, "If you haven't made a hedge of protection around him and around his house, which he has on every side," that's what Satan says. He has that on every side of, northwest, east, south. "You have blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land." That's what Satan says. So Satan is tempting God, saying the reason why he worships you is because you're blessing him and you're protecting him. So Satan, at that point, Satan does not have authority to touch his goods or his family. Then Satan says, "Put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face." Lord gives him permission. He said, "Look, all that he has is in your power. Just do not touch Job himself." So everything that he has is in your power. So Satan left. So he was given authority. So when bad things happen, and if Satan is involved, it's because God gave him permission or authority. Now, of course, from an earthly perspective, you don't see that. Shih Tzu happens to good people sometimes, But we don't think about what's happening beyond what we can see, because there's a lot going on. And the Bible's more interesting when you consider what's going on. So so basically, his family was killed in that time, and all his family died. So I'm not gonna. It's already prepared, but I'll be for another time when I have everything fresh in my head. And another day, same again. God talks about to his angels or sons of God. It says, and I was Satan what he's been doing. I've been up and down in the earth and out of the earth, blah blah blah. Again, says, "Have you considered my servant Job? There's none like him on earth." And so, and Satan answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin, ye all that a man hath, will he give for his life?" Yeah, so Satan tried to tempt God and say, give me the power, authority to touch Job, because killing his whole family did not work. Job was still righteous before God. Job did not curse God when his family died. Then Satan said, "Yeah, but that's because you didn't even allow me to give him sickness. You didn't allow me to even touch him." So eventually, God gives Satan permission to touch Job, but then God did not allow Satan to take his life. So you had to make him sick. Just paraphrasing, but don't take his life. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot onto his crown. Wow, that's one hell of a sickness. In a way, that's as good as the other example I was looking for. But so God speaks to his angels. He speaks about us. He speaks about us. And have you considered Tib? uh, you know, maybe not to Satan specifically, but there are God is doing stuff. He's governing the world in those at present there are two kingdoms: kingdom of God and kingdom of darkness, or Satan. Since the fall, Satan had authority over the earth. But think about it. God is doing stuff. He's talking to his angels, and it's interesting. God talks about us every day. Maybe not in the same context as Job. I'm certainly probably not as righteous as Job. Definitely not actually. um, but yeah, I mean, even look what Satan moans about. Job was protected. Job was protected by God, and Satan was saying that's why he's so righteous, because he's got everything. You prosper him in everything he does. You prosper his hands, the work of his hands, and you got your angels protecting his household. Remove that, God, and he will curse you to thy face. But Satan was wrong. Satan is not. He doesn't see the future. He knows what's going to happen in Revelation because he probably read the book. He knows, but he doesn't really know the detail. He doesn't know what my future holds. So yeah, there are some people who, whether Christian or not Christian, righteous or unrighteous, there are people who just prosper. And yes, from an earthly perspective, there's a science behind it, but sometimes I believe that. I mean, I'm convinced that there's something going on in the heavenly realm as well, in what we can't see. It could be something you inherit as well. Prosperity can be inherited as well. It's hard to imagine from an earthly perspective, but look at the kings of the world. Okay, especially in the West, whether presidents, kings and queens, or even prime ministers, presidents. Research has been done into this. Okay, but the vast majority, I think, except one, um, and even a lot of the presidential candidates are directly descendants of a British royalty. It could be some is about 5 generations, some 7, some 10. Now I know some people like to say because they like to deny that everyone is related to royalty if you go back far enough. Yeah, but we're talking a few generations here. Like I'm not related to a king from a couple hundred years ago. Like no, most of us aren't. They tend to intermarry each other. Um, Possibly to keep that blessed gene off. Because I mean, it is said. I mean, some people say I've read it before. I've not verified it that the Queen is a direct descendant of King Solomon through the Scottish line, and then but it does make sense. At first when I first found out about this, even Barack Obama is cousins with Mitt Romney um, and a few generations descendant of one of the kings of England. Um, Possibly Donald Trump as well. Some people say Solomon as well, from descendant of Solomon. But I'm not going very far with that just yet. Okay, um, but it makes sense. President Bush, Clinton's, even Donald Trump apparently. But first when I heard about this, I thought it was all conspiracy, blah blah blah, Illuminati. Could be too, but also it kind of makes sense in a way. I mean, look, we have genealogies in the Bible. Jesus is going to be king of the world, and he's a descendant of kings of David, man, the Davidic line. So in a way, it's not fully evil and unbiblical or wrong that every ruler, most prime ministers, even Boris Johnson, yes, Boris Johnson. There's a show in BBC. I'm not sure if it still goes on, called "Who Do You Think You Are?" Boris Johnson is a direct descendant of King George, or King George, one of the King Georges. Um, so come on, he's prime minister now. I believe David Cameron also, or his wife was at least. I don't know about Theresa May. Um, but it's probably Tony Blair as well. Actually, I mean, you could look into this yourself, but it's the best thing I found in my family tree. I managed to go back 500 years, and I'm kind of descendant. Apparently, okay, I'm not sure. I haven't been too careful about that to verify its validity. I'm descended from Earls of Scotland. So if you go back further, I don't know if there would be any kings and queens further back, but I don't know, I can't believe it. But yeah, I'm probably not going to become king. um, yeah. But anyway, we'll see you there. Until next time, I love you and God bless.